Hi, students. How are you doing? Hey, it is so good to be standing here, and I'm going to be talking to you about our writing lesson for the week. Now, as we go on with this right now, I want to present to you our question for the week for the day today that you're going to be answering in your writing assignment. How can we look at things differently? How can we look at things differently? So it is very interesting that this falls right now in our life because look at everything that we're going through. Just almost a couple weeks ago, we were together in class. You were coming to school and you were doing your work at school. And now you're home having to look and face something totally different. So I want to talk with you about a couple things that are in our lesson, seeing things in a different way, okay? So sometimes in life, we have things that cause us to look at things differently. A good example is what we're facing right now, okay? And sometimes, quite often, change comes into our life, and it's actually a great opportunity for us to grow. We may not like it, we may not want it to be the way that it is, but sometimes that happens in life, and if we allow it, if we allow ourselves to see it in a different way, and embrace it and be open to change, it will help us to grow. Okay, so I want to talk to you about two words that I know you know the words, but let's be refreshed on the definitions. Perspective. Okay, perspective is the way you see something. Okay, another word is change, and I like to read the meaning here: to make or become different. Okay, so like we see the leaves change through the seasons, right? We also can see things change in our classroom. Teachers can change where you sit. They can change groups, all different kinds of things. At home, you can maybe have changes. But right now, we are facing a big change. You were at school learning, and now you're at home learning. You're seeing your teacher via like videos like this. So it's a big change, and perspective is the way you see something. Okay, so we can look at something and we can see it in a way, and we can also see it in a positive way, even though it may be a hard situation. So I want to show you a couple things. Now this here I've had for a while. I got it at an antique store many years ago, but I just really like it. It's just unique, different. So what is it? Well, you look at this and they look like, right? They look like lanterns, right? Like camping lanterns, but they're old-fashioned lanterns. So you look at it and you go, oh, it's just this little hanging thing that, has two lanterns on it, and it's kind of cool looking, right? But let me read a quote to you from our book, Pearson, for this week that's really good. It says, if we open our eyes, we can see things we've never seen before. They were there all along, waiting for us to see them. So, for example, I look at this, I'm like, well, it looks like two lanterns hanging. I must like it because I still have it. I think it's really cool. But if we were to open our eyes and see things we've never seen before, they were there all along. If I look closer, I see that they're more than just two little lanterns hanging on here. They are actually, wait till you see this. This is a salt shaker, pepper shaker, or you can have this be the pepper and the salt, or salt and pepper. They're salt and pepper shakers. And actually they go on your dining room table, your family room table where you eat dinner, on the counter. That's what they are. Isn't that something? How at first you look at them and they seem a certain way, but if you get closer and you look, you see something else. Now there's something else to this too. You take out both of the little salt and pepper shakers and look at this. It is, look at that. Look at the shape. Isn't that cool? It's an anchor. So I didn't see that until I had to look really closely to see what it was. And Jesus is our anchor, He's our strength. Okay, now I want to show you a couple of pictures to kind of show you the example of what I'm talking about. So I'm going to put this up to the screen there. Take a good look at that picture right there. Let's see if we can get it full blown there. So the question is asking, seeing things a different way. When I showed this to somebody, they said it looked like a wagon. I thought, that's really cool because that's not what I saw when I first looked at it. Actually, what I saw was a guitar. It looks like a guitar. But if you keep looking at it, there's something else you can see, and maybe there's more things you can see. And you might see things that I don't see in it. But then I ended up looking and seeing a sun. So there's a sun. I went, wait a minute, a guitar does not have a sun in it. So I looked more carefully and I realized, oh no, this is mountains. This is trees and shrubs over here. This is a lake. So the shadow from the mountains is on the lake. This is a lake scene and it's a beautiful scene. But it could be some other things too. And maybe you saw some things that I didn't even see. Okay, you also have this in your packets to look at. Now let me show you the next picture I want us to look at. This is an interesting one too. This brings in the word perspective. Remember the way perspective, the way we see something. Okay, look at that right there. Look real closely. You see over here a man on an island and he's calling out, boat! Then we see a man on a boat and he's calling out, land. So you see how there's two different perspectives there. Yet it's the same picture, the same scene, but there's two different perspectives. Two different ways to see it, to look at it. So that is what we're going to be writing about in our writing this week, the first day. I want us to look at our own life and the things in our life and look and see how can we look at things differently. Because if we are just stuck at looking at something and not open to seeing more there, we can miss out on so much. So, in all honesty, we have been going through a big change, haven't we? You are now being taught at home. And like I said earlier, you're seeing us through videos or your teachers. But there is so much that we can get from this season in our life, from this time in our life that can help us to grow, okay? And that's what we're asking today is I want you to write about that. How can we look at things in a different way? So for example, we now cannot have recess, right? You're at home. So maybe a thing that you're having to look differently is you've got to look at ways that you can have recess time at home. And how do you do that? Do you do it outside? Do you create some fun things to do inside the house? Another way is you miss your friends, right? You probably miss your friends at school just as much as they miss you. So, because I got to tell you, watching you guys out at recess is really fun. The tetherball competition, the games you make up at the 2 o'clock recess that are just amazing. Well, now you're at home, and so you have to look at it differently. You have to be willing to change and see it differently right now. So maybe you can write about how, well, I've had to learn to have recess at my house. How do I do that? Well, these are some of the ideas that I have. Maybe you can write about, you miss your friends, and so you write about how you've been playing with your brother or sister more. Or maybe you have an animal, you've been spending more time with your animal as part of playtime. And then another part is learning it at home. Maybe you can write about how can we look at things in a different way. That's the question on your writing page that you're going to answer. So how can I look at things in a different way? When it comes to my work, you could say, well, I am now working at home and I have to look at things differently. I have to learn that I may have to really work hard at doing my own work and not always being dependent on somebody else to help me. But I can look at it, read the directions, and I can do it for myself. So you want to write about that kind of thing, okay? Write about 2 or 3 sentences on there. Tell us about how you can look at things different, what they may be. Maybe you have some other ideas, like about your own life, how you could look at things differently. Maybe you're wanting to change your room because you're home now and you're wanting to organize it more so you can find the things you need to find. There's all different kind of ideas that you can write about looking at things differently in our life. Now, what's really important for us to catch with this is that we're actually living this out right now, because we're all teachers, parents, and you, the students, are having to learn how to look at things differently right now. So you're actually living this out in your life. So have fun writing about it. Just have fun. Writing, it should be fun, because we're creating something and nobody's going to write it like you, because there's no one like you. We're all going to have our own way that we do this. So you get out a pencil, sharpen it, get out that paper that we provided for you, and start writing. Maybe you can write about what you're learning by learning at home, because that is something new and different. Perspective, the way we see something, change, willing to change when we need to, and we're all having to do that right now. And I just want to encourage you to hang in there, okay? Stay the course, be strong at home, obey your parents, and do the best work you can. And when it comes to our writing assignments, remember our punctuation rules. Always have a capital at the beginning of your sentence, and then either end it with a period, a question mark if you're asking a question, punctuation mark if you are wanting to make something stand out and be exciting and make a point, and just have fun. And remember, God's given us the gift of imagination. Let's use that in our writing assignments. I'm going to do another video for our Thursday assignment about animal fantasy. So I look forward to doing that, and I will get back with you, and you have fun doing this assignment. All right? Take care. Until next time.